I'm Jamie Hooper with the Home Advantage team in RE/MAX Select Properties, and today we're going to talk about the July sales statistics for the Greater Vancouver real estate market. Before I do that, I'd just like to remind you, if you get any enjoyment out of these videos, find any value in them, please either click a like, hit a subscribe button, or even make a comment down below. So as I said before, the sales statistics are in for the month of July for the Greater Vancouver Real Estate Board, and a little different than the two previous months. May and June had been a little better sales-wise than we've seen over the last few years. And it was going to be interesting to see if the trend continued through the summer months, which it did not. July was a slower month considerably than May and June were. Now, not to cause any alarm, that's how the market typically goes in Greater Vancouver under normal conditions. After a busy spring market of March, April, May, June, it typically slows down again in July and August, and then it'll pick up again after Labor Day till around middle towards the end of November. So it'll be interesting to see this fall if it does that. Well, we're going to dive into the statistics a little more right now, but before we do that, let's just talk about the three types of markets there are. We've got a seller's market, which occurs when more than 20% of the homes sell in a single month. And if prices continue that way for an extended period of time, prices will rise. Then the next type of market is a balanced market, which is where between 12 and 20% of the properties sell. And that means there's an equal number of buyers and sellers in the marketplace, and the prices will typically stay flat over that period of time. And then the last type of market we have is a buyer's market. And that's when it's less than 12% of the sales occur. And if a buyer's market continues over an extended period of time, prices will drop. So first of all, let's talk about the detached housing market. Had shown a few signs of life through the spring, but again, slowed down considerably in the summer. Most of these are either buyers or balanced market conditions. We don't have any sellers market conditions. Occasionally you'll see North Vancouver slip in there just because there's just a lack of product on the North Shore. So as you go through those numbers, they're all either buyers or balanced market conditions. The next column over is how much the value of homes has gone up over the last 12 months or decreased. And you can see they're all in negative territory, from a low of -4 in Tsawwassen to a high of -9 in West Van and on the east side of Vancouver. And then median days on market. This is a reflection on how long it takes for the homes to sell. You can see most of them are all, in fact, they're all up in double digits except for Ladner, which is an interesting study. So the slower the market is, the longer a house typically takes to sell. When the market was hot, these were all under 10 days, the median days on market. And then the percentage of the sales price compared to the list price, you'll see a lot of those were over 100%. People were getting above asking during the hot market times. And you can see now we go to a low of 91% in West Van to a high of 97% on the east side of Vancouver. Flipping over to the condo, townhouse, and half duplex market, you'll see better list to sell ratios just because it's more affordable and a greater percentage of the population can afford it. So most of these are all in balanced market conditions. Prices have all softened somewhat over the last year, with the highest being West Van at -14, and then the lowest being Ladner and Tsawwassen at -6%. Median days on market, much higher than they were during hot market conditions again as well. And the sales price compared to the listing price is better in the condo townhouse market. It's not the bigger drops that we see in the detached. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this fall if the market springs back a little bit like it did during April, May, and June. And we're going to monitor it over the summer months and in the fall. And we'll be back to you with another video soon.